Hi, I'm John, and today I'm going to be talking about Pop! OS. This is the Linux distribution that a lot of people are using, and I see why. It's, I think, a Linux distribution that is made for the everyday user. I think it's made for the desktop user, not necessarily the hobbyist, although you could use it that way. And it's got what they call a modified GNOME desktop. So it looks like GNOME, but it's modified. It's got some other little things that it'll do. And, I think it makes a lot of sense if you're trying to become more efficient, faster, doing more things with less. I think it works really well on that end, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. First off, the background is a background that I pulled as one of the backgrounds that they have available. I like it. It's reminds me of it's a small thing, but it reminds me of George Jetson and throwback cartoons from the '60s. Anyway, it's what they call the cosmic desktop, and uh, it really is nice and clean. And this is kind of the first impression that I've gotten of it is that it's a very clean desktop. It's very efficient. And I think that's what they're going for. If you read a little bit on their website, I think they're definitely going for that efficient, get work done, be productive type of distribution. And I think it accomplishes that in a lot of ways. I really like it. And it's one of those things where you go to these different distributions, and what I'm finding is I go through them one by one. I always kind of compare them to Mint because I'm a Mint user, but it's not really fair to do because they are so different in how they set up and kind of their approach. And System 76, who makes Pop! OS, also has a whole bunch of hardware, laptops, desktops, mini computers that you can purchase as well. I think they're a little bit out of the price range that I would want, and I'm not quite sure if it makes any difference whether you use their hardware or not. You don't have to use their hardware. Clearly, you don't, because I'm operating this on my 10-year-old HP from 2014. 16 gigabytes. It's the HP 500-314. And if you want to look up the specs on that, you can, except I added memory and that type of thing. Um, if I have to do a cough or something like that this morning, I'll mute it, and you'll have to excuse me for that. The mornings are always difficult when you're trying to talk, and this has been several takes to get this right. And I don't script this, so it makes it a little more difficult. So anyway, you got this retro looking background. Love it. And it comes as you see, except for some of the icons I've added below because I've added some programs, obviously, but it'll come with Workspaces up here, and you can just click on that. I added hot corners because I like hot corners. There's a setting where you can do a hot corner and then open up all the workspaces. That tends to be the way I like to do it. It saves me a click, uh, not a big deal. And then you have applications up here too. And you don't have to have this dock down at the bottom. You can totally hide that. But I like it for how it, just looks and feels. It's got that modern desktop look. And aesthetically, I really like that. Um, it looks great. So I'll just go into here just to show the applications. Uh, if you do install some applications, what it'll do, it'll just put them into your library home. It won't sort them for you, even though you'll get something like Office, System, Utilities. When you first started out, you won't have those programs automatically put into those places. It'll go into your library home, and then you have to move them to other places, like I did here. So, no big deal. It does come with LibreOffice. Love it. Let's just open up the spreadsheet, see how fast it loads. It's fast. It's quick. and I use LibreOffice in functioning with my business needs and um, just lots of personal stuff. It's just great. There's nothing wrong with it, and I think it really, in my mind, works better than Microsoft Office ever did. I hate to be such a downer on Microsoft, but I think for years and years, as we've gone along, we just see it degrade more and more, and it doesn't get any better. And they keep claiming to fix bugs, but they never really got fixed. So you have to kind of, at some point, if I was Microsoft, I guess I would go back to starting all over again, and I'd probably base it on Linux. How's that? That's what I would do. Um, let's take a drink. It's dry. It's Minnesota. It's winter. Ah, so you got to do that, or else I'm not going to make it through this video. Um, so down here, you have another thing called Launcher, and you can launch your applications from here. You can just type in, say I wanted to pull up catfish file search. There we go. And there it is. So you can do it by the launcher and just by naming it, or you can go through the icons, that type of thing. So I'm going to right click this and add it to the favorites, and there it is. So, real easy to move around. So you can do it by typing, you can do it by just the applications shown in the different folders, that type of thing. Another thing that the launcher does, let's open up Catfish file search again. There we go. Now, when you do the launcher, you can also use the super key, and it shows I got 3 instances of it up, and I do. So let's see. Okay, there. If you if you push the super key, you will see all the different applications you have open, and you can move in and out of those by using that. So you can do it that way. You don't necessarily have to mess with these icons down below. Does it make that much of a difference? Probably not, but it does show that they were thinking, how do we make things easier and easier with an integration, not just of the mouse, but also the keyboard. And I think the people at Pop! OS were thinking about this from a big aspect of hotkeys and things like that. There was definitely something that they did. Somebody else mentioned in one of the other videos saying, you really should show how many gigabytes memory is being used when you do this. This would be helpful. So I'm doing that right now. Right now with just OBS running, it shows memory being used of 3.1 gigabytes, and the CPU is running at 56% to 60%. Once again, it's a 10-year-old machine, so I'm going to tell you that it's not as efficient or as powerful as what's on the market today. So, but it works great, and let's just go from there. So there, I've satisfied that one guy and then some others who want to see that kind of technical information. My purpose in this is not giving you a whole lot of technical information. I'm trying to just, just trying to give you an aspect of, would an everyday user find this helpful moving from Windows to Linux or Mac, that type of thing. And up in the right-hand corner, you have some of your system information and all that. And that's that. One of the things I really like about Pop! OS, and I tried it, maybe, I'm itching this morning, maybe about a year ago, and I actually used it for a few weeks as my daily driver, was the Pop Shop. So this is their package manager, and I like it. It really is nice. I think one of the things, there's one thing I don't like about it, but as far as finding what you're looking for, like if I was looking for OBS, my nose will not stop itching. And of course, it's going to do that because I'm on the camera. So there's OBS Studio. It shows it's installed because it doesn't give me an option to install it. Let's try something else. Let's say Firefox, as much as I don't really like Firefox. Now, if you notice, there's a little bit of a lag when I type this in. And I don't know if that's my computer or if that's the Pop OS store, the Pop Shop. It does seem to lag a little bit when I type something in, like right there. Really small thing, and I wouldn't fault them for that at all. I mean, how much do you actually need to be using the Pop Shop all that time? Anyway, it's got, what I like about it, it's got everything. Let's see if it's got Thunar. Okay, so it does have Thunar File Manager. Let's see if it has Nemo. See, there's this lag, and that's the one thing that maybe they need to work on. So it does have Nemo. Let's just install it because I like Nemo as a file manager. I really don't like some of these others, and I don't like Dolphin, oddly enough. So it's installing it, and let's just see how long it takes to install something pretty basic. And I think it's just about done. So, well, it's still moving. Anyway, the Pop Shop gives you all the icons like I like. I like these package managers that have icons, and don't expect me to know the names of everything. I think that is an expectation of about 10 years ago, where a Linux user would have to kind of know what the file name was or what it was he was looking for and do a text search. I don't like that. So this really works well that way. So let's click into it real quick. So I can open it from here, and there it is on the dock. I'm going to add it to the favorites because I like it. You can see here that I've got a whole bunch of video files that I did, and there's been a number of takes, some of them very short, but you just wouldn't believe how many times you got to do this in order to get it right enough that whoever's listening won't go, oh gosh, he's constantly taking water, he's constantly coughing, and it's those kind of things that you don't want as much as possible. Or my nose itching, which it's doing right now, and it's going to drive me crazy. So you also have the terminal. I mean, basic things that every Linux user needs. You do need the terminal. And so one of the other things that it does is if you hit the super key with S, let's open up a few things here first. Right now, the desktop in this icon up here is you're just opening up programs the way they are. Let's just open a few things up that I don't care about, whether it shows or not. So it's just got them in a whole bunch of different places on the desktop. So you hit this little icon up here, and it's going to tile the windows. And there it tiled them. So that's really nice. It, makes your workspace instantly much better. And if you're coming from Windows, I know they do some tiling and things like that, but this just makes it real simple and easy. And this is one of the things I think they were trying to do. Now, they also have what's called Pop OS stacking. So let's pick one of these windows, like this Pop Store window, and you press Super and S. That turns it into a stacked window. So now if you open anything else, so let's see if I can open something else, the system monitor. it'll take it and move it right into that stack. So it just automatically does that. So super key S, and you can do that. And then if you want to move something, say like I wanted to move this calculator, I would, let me try to remember the hotkey on that. Um, I did it last night. I'm learning this. The one thing about the whole hotkeys on this tiling and stuff and stacking, it's a little bit much. Now I'm trying to remember. What did I do last night? Oh boy. Should we just find out how we do? What's the command for stacking? Oh, it's terrible. I'll remember it here in a minute. Well, I'll look it up here in a second while we're talking. Anyway, I like that. I like being able to stack applications, and there it didn't do it. Okay, there's a new subscriber. Oh, I don't want to restore something. Okay, sorry about this. Okay, there. Pop OS stacking. I feel like an idiot. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So the super key S, I know about that. Oh, super key enter. Okay, that's what it was. Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to take this calculator and super key enter, and now I just take the arrow and put it over to where I want it, left, and then it's added it to this stacked window. So that's how you do that. You know, pretty simple, pretty easy, but I had a senior moment. What am I going to tell you? But one nice thing about Linux, I guess this brings up one of the things I love about Linux, is that if you don't have an answer, you can get it real quick. There's a great community of people. And if you're switching from Windows to Linux, what you realize is that you're going to be able to fix a lot of problems that you really couldn't do in Windows because you always had to get the advice from the mothership. And with Linux, you don't. You have a vibrant community. And what a lot of people don't really talk about, I mean, some do, but you can't underestimate the community that's behind all this. You know, people just doing it either as a hobby, out of the goodness of their heart, whatever it might be. Time for more water. I am so sorry for the unprofessionalism of this. I don't have it all together. But anyway, that's stacking, and that's what you do. So I'm going to close these out, and there, just X them all out. So once again, if you have several things open, you can have the tile button up here, the tile icon, and it will tile everything. So let's do it again. And then how about the terminal? So it's tiled them very nicely. And you know, I think for a lot of people that may be all you need to do. But if you want to go further than that, super key S, and then that becomes a stacked window. And you could stack everything in there if you wanted to. And you wanted that just to be your desktop, you could do that. And then also super key enter, and then just use your arrow key and move it over. So there, that's simple. Actually, when Pop OS was showing that originally in a video. I didn't like how they did it, and it was a little confusing. Basically, it's just super key S, super key enter, and you can do whatever you want. I'm going to take off the tiling of the windows, and there's a lot more you can do with tiling and also with stacking. Very nice feature, really great, and that's the way they're thinking it at System 76. This is what you get the feeling of. It goes a little bit beyond regular Linux. And some of these other distributions, even some that I've already talked about, they use the basic thing. And this has gone a step further, saying we want to make this easy, convenient, faster, more efficient for the user. And I think they really accomplished that with Pop! OS. It does have all these other programs that you get by default. I'll show you which ones you get, all these utilities, your system stuff, Office, you'll get that. Internet, you'll get Firefox. I added Chromium. Graphics, you won't get anything. You'll need to add something for that. So, really nice. And what's great about it is just very basic. It says, here's your workspaces, here's your programs, here's some hotkeys to make things easier and tile things, and that's going to make it more efficient. Really a nice way to look at it, and really a nice way to approach it without a lot of extra junk that you don't need. Does it work perfectly? I mean, I found that a year ago when I was playing around with it, and I didn't do all this tiling stuff, I found that back then there was a couple things that I thought were a little bit buggier, but it's not buggy. It's just back then I think there was a couple things they had to get straightened out. I mean, you can call those bugs or whatever you want, but the only thing I see right now, and it could be my computer, is the fact that when I do type into the Pop Shop, I tend to get a lag. I don't know why that is. OBS works great. All the other programs work great, and I really like the way the whole desktop looks. And it just, clean, efficient. A lot of people like this modern desktop. They like how it looks, and it often reminds me of a tablet, right? So anyway, I like Pop! OS, and I think it'd be a good thing for somebody who was coming over from Windows to Linux. And the font, I'm not crazy about the default one that comes out, but I think you can change that readily. And there's just really nice desktop. Cosmic desktop, modified GNOME, a lot of fun little features, and I think they're going to add to those features. I think that's going to only improve, which is going to make it very attractive for people like me to want to go and use Pop! OS. So anyway, that's just kind of an everyday average user's look at it. Pop! OS, great distribution to use in 2024 if you're making the jump from another operating system to Linux, and it's efficient, clean, good. I like the Jetsons background, kind of. That's what I call it. But it's good for just about any kind of need that you would have for a desktop computer. So leave a comment if I miss something. I always miss something. I'm not a Linux expert by any stretch of the imagination. There's people out there that could forget more than I know, and that's just the way it is. But I'm looking at it from a perspective of a daily driver, that type of thing. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you think about Pop! OS yourself if you've tried it. And I'll be moving on to another distribution next time, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.